So a few months ago, I made a video called "This Video is About Brain Rot," and it did pretty good. So I just wanted to make a quick little part two to the video. It's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be talking from a script or anything like that. But there's been people who've asked me personally on how to fix brain rot. And I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of people who commented asking how to fix brain rot. So I just want to tell you how to actually fix brain rot. And to save you a bunch of time, the answer is get off your phone, get off social media, get away from a screen, and just focus on other things that are actually helpful in your life. Now, when I say that, that's probably not anything new. So the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. The problem is that you're just not doing it. So the real question is figuring out why you're not doing what you already know you have to do. Because I don't know how many people have made videos on how to fix brain rot, or all the videos you see online, all these little self-improvement videos, these little life hacks on how to improve your life, and these little tips and tricks that are going to make the biggest impact. There is no shortcut. There is no magic secret thing that you haven't been hearing about that's going to magically fix every single thing. At the end of the day, are you doing the things it takes or not? There is no shortcut. There is no app that you can download. It's gonna grow a tree or help you save 15 minutes online. The way you actually stop is by getting off your phone. But most people are gonna hear this, know that this is absolutely true, and that it is never going to get better unless they actually just put their phone down, but still never put their phone down. And I'm not going to say I'm perfect at this. I've been guilty of this as well. Since I posted that video, I've definitely been on TikTok. I've definitely wasted a lot of time looking at social media content I probably should not have been looking at because I could have been doing other stuff. So I'm not saying I'm absolutely perfect at this, but I am significantly better than I have been before. And every time I put my phone down, I am shocked at what happens and what my brain can come up with if I just let it roam and I don't let it attach its attention to a screen. And once again, I hope this video isn't too long or it's too boring or, I'm kind of all over the place because I'm just talking right now. I don't have a script at all right now. And I hope people's brains aren't brain rotted enough that they can't listen to a few-minute video that could, potentially save years of their life. Anyways, so for me, one thing I talk about a lot throughout my videos is death. And it's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about because, it's arguably one of the scariest thoughts you can really think of. The fact that one day everything will just be gone. But if you sit down and you think about your life and the fact you don't have forever to be here and that you have one chance to exist and do the things that you want to do and that you literally only get one chance forever, are you going to waste the one time you have to exist on a screen? Are you going to know what to do, know the things stopping you from getting everything you want from life, and then just not doing it? And hopefully me saying it like that makes it sound fucking stupid, because it is. Because if you were to look at yourself from the third person, imagine you had a camera in your room that's like a time lapse and it's always watching you. And you just know one day the camera's just going to shut off and you can never record any other moment in your life ever. Do you think you want to rewatch that tape on your deathbed when you're about to die and just see yourself scrolling for hours and days and months and years upon end? If you know what to do, then simply just do it. It's so simple. I get it. It's simple, but it's not easy. And a little bit of a side tangent. I was thinking about Nike about a couple months ago, and no, about 6 months ago. And I was just like, why is Nike so popular? Their little slogan, just do it. Why is that such a, powerful, why such a world famous slogan? And then I thought about it because at the end of the day, you just do it. Because usually what they're talking about is people who want to do something different with their life, people who want to take a risk, people who are on self-improvement, who want to make money, get in shape, do whatever, and who just want more out of their life. And usually when you start that process, there's a lot of procrastination. There's a lot of advice telling you how to do this thing and this thing and this thing, just these little small things that don't really amount to anything. Because at the end, when it's all said and done, you have to just do it. Just do it. There are no shortcuts. And people are making a lot of money by trying to feed people or trying to teach people a shortcut, because a lot of people want something. A lot of people want to have money, success. People just want stuff, but nobody wants to do the things it takes to get there. Because at this point, I feel like most people know what to do to become the person that they want to become. Imagine a person that you want to become in your mind. If someone put a gun to your head, you probably know exactly what you have to get there, but you just don't want to do the steps. So people know that. So they try to sell people on this. Hey, did you know there's this 15-step process that actually takes 2 months and actually save you 20 years of your life? They know that, but it doesn't actually do anything because there is no shortcut. Of course, like, are there smarter ways to do it? Yes, but at the end of the day, let's say like you want to lose weight. At the end of the day, you have to stop fucking eating. Like, you can get different advices on, like, different foods to eat. You can learn different supplements and bada 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 bada. But at the end of the day, are you going to fucking do it or not? If you want to focus, sure, there might be apps. You turn your phone on do not disturb. You can put your phone on grayscale. You can, put your phone in a box and lock it up. But are you gonna do it? Like, are you going to actually do the things you need to do? It just comes down to that. At least for me personally, I guess I'm at the stage in my life where I've looked into a lot of self-improvement stuff, and I've read a lot of books, and I've watched a lot of videos, and I've done a bunch of small little things. But the biggest progress I ever made in my entire life is when I just do something. And aside from death, which is a huge motivator when it comes to me doing anything I actually want to do in life, another thing I think about is, what is the alternative? And I think about this for a lot of different things. Every time I don't want to do something, or I make an excuse, or I know there's something I should be doing, but I'm trying to weasel my way out of it, I just always think to myself now, what is the alternative? Like, if I say, like, someone asks me how to fix brain rot, and then I say, get off your phone. And someone's like, oh, yeah, it's kind of hard. Okay, what's the alternative? The alternative is that you don't do what you're supposed to do, which is just get off your phone. You don't just do it. And now you're scrolling for hours and years, and you repeat the same cycle over and over. Bro, brain rotting isn't even that fun. Like, if you look at yourself while you're scrolling, you're not smiling, you're not having fun, you're not enjoying yourself, you're not sitting there kicking your feet. Maybe when you were like 12, 15 years old, when you first got social media, yeah, it was pretty fun. But you can literally be scrolling, just looking at bullshit content for like 2-3 hours at a time, and you might get like a little like once every 30 minutes or so. Not even 30 minutes, once every like 2 or 3 days sometime. What is the alternative? Like, is that just going to be your one chance at existence, just there rotting your brain, not doing anything? It's just embarrassing. Like, if you just think of yourself as like a human being just sitting there scrolling all day every day, it's just sad. Now, once again, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. I'm talking about myself right now. It's fucking embarrassing when I make a video talking about brain rot, and then I found myself up until 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, just scrolling, doing nothing. And the worst part about it is that I'm pretty sure other people can relate to this as well. But every time I scroll, every time I watch a video, or I scroll for a little bit, or I do something I know I'm not supposed to do, I always feel bad afterwards. Like, it's never something that I look back on and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I was up till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning watching a video on a topic I didn't even care about. It's like every time I download TikTok on my phone because I want to look up something or someone sent me something. Now, an hour or two every single day is just gone until I delete the app. And every one of those 2-3 hours I spent on the app, it's just, I feel nothing good from it at all, yet I keep going back to it. I remember I was hearing this one person talk about TikTok, and they were saying that TikTok is the modern day fentanyl or some type of drug or whatever. Basically, how it's just like, it's this thing that anyone can access, and people act like they're literally on drugs when they're on TikTok. And not just TikTok, but any social media, any type of short form content, not even short form content, just anything with a screen with flashing pixels to excite the monkey brain. I don't know, this video is kind of all over the place. You get off your phone. You get off your phone. That's all you have to do. You get off your phone. There is no shortcut. I highly, highly recommend, if you do want to do anything useful in life, do not look for a shortcut. If you're in school, don't try to look for some shortcut. Don't try to look for some easy path, because usually just think about it logically. If the easy shortcut roundabout path was the best way to go, everybody would do it. It would become crowded and it wouldn't work anymore. Now, once again, it doesn't mean that there aren't certain paths that are better than others, but it's like, but once you research how to do something, how to accomplish something, you get like 90% of the information in like a couple of hours. Now you're just looking at like little tips and tricks. You're probably not going to learn anything that's going to significantly change anything massive. I'm probably gonna make a video about this later on, but the way you accomplish anything is just doing it. it sounds so boring. It sounds so boring. But anybody that you look up to that's like trying to tell you how to do something, or anyone that you look up to that you want to be like, that has something that you want, they just did it. You just put your head down, you just do it. But here's the crazy part about this though. If you actually put the phone down, you just stop doing something, your brain is very adaptable and it locks in to focus faster than you would think. Like if you ever experienced having no Wi-Fi, like whenever the Wi-Fi is out, you probably accomplish more in those 30 minutes, hours, 2 hours than you would have in an entire week because there's nothing distracting yourself. And the only reason why you weren't distracted is because there was no way for you to distract yourself. But now because you have a phone right in your pocket that can literally show you anything across the planet instantly and learn from what you like and just get better and better and better and better, it's your brain is not going to want to do shit else but go to that app because it knows it's right there. It knows literally within arm's reach. Like right now, my phone is within about 15 inches of my hand. It is right here all the time. But the hardest part is starting. Like for this YouTube channel, I'm not saying I'm the biggest YouTuber ever, but once you start doing something that you want to do and you start seeing progress in what you're doing, and it's something that you actually care about, something you actually want to do, once you get past that little bit of resistance, you get momentum, you start to enjoy it more. And here's the weird part. It starts to become more fun than scrolling. But you need to get past that first initial little hill, that first little bit of resistance that's trying to push you back, try to push you down. Because once you get past that, it's significantly easier to try to do the things you know you should be doing. And once again, I'm not trying to sound arrogant. I'm not saying I have the biggest YouTube channel ever. Now that my channel is starting to do better and I'm starting to see a little bit of success in what I'm doing, it feels wrong to scroll on TikTok. It is not as fun to scroll on TikTok and just bullshit around when I know I could be doing something that's going to make me feel significantly better, even if it is harder. But it takes time to get to that point in which you can start seeing that momentum. And the worst part about this, that a lot of people don't really mention too much, is that even once you start getting momentum, it's not like you're in the clear. There's always going to be something in the back of your mind that's always going to be trying to push you off track. And some people call it resistance or whatever, but that thing in the back of your head is always trying to stop you from doing the things you actually want to do. It doesn't go away. Even if you make like really big progress in something, it will still be there the next day once you beat it for that day. It never ends. So even if you have a good day, the next day you got to go beat it all over again, and it's not going to stop. And all those words I just said will not matter if you don't just do it, which is why I feel that's the main thing most people just kind of miss with a lot of stuff. It's the action part. A lot of people spend so much time planning and writing stuff down and thinking about so much stuff, but it just comes down to just doing it. And the thing is that like the rules are rules. You do it or you do not. There is a price tag for it. If you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it, but then don't complain about not having it. Like if you really wanted to do it, you would do it, if that makes sense. Like if you really know what you want to do in your life and you have a plan, you have a goal, you have something you want to do, why would you let a phone stop you from getting there? Because obviously it's not that important. Like if you want to start a YouTube channel and you have not started in like 6 months, but you have spent 100 hours scrolling, twiddling your little fingers, you do not want it that bad, which is fine. But those who can get off their phone, those who can stop riding their brain, those who can actually focus for a couple hours a day consistently towards a goal are going to be the ones who achieve the thing that you wanted to achieve. I'm getting kind of, excited, getting a little bit too, hype up about this, but it's just something I've been thinking about for a while. Something I wish I could have told myself years ago, because there's so many things online, so many people trying to give little tips and tricks on how to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm not saying all of them are completely useless and not helpful, but at the end of the day, it comes down to, is your phone put away? Is your ass in the chair doing what you know you need to do? Are you actually doing the work it takes to achieve the goal you want to achieve? That's all it comes down to. You can keep making excuses and complain, or you can just do it. Life doesn't give a fuck. So I don't want this video to be too long, but how do you fix brain rot? You get off your phone and you focus on something else. You put your phone down, you delete all the apps, and you try your best not to get on them unless you've actually earned it, or you really need to, or you're trying to look for something very specific and you're trying to use it with some intentionality. And if you do that, your brain's going to get really, really, really bored, and it's going to start focusing on things it usually never focuses on. And if you don't and keep looking for, a secret shortcut for the magic words that are going to hit your brain, is going to magically change everything and fix your brain around and give you everything you ever wanted, you'll never find it. So if you don't do it, then you'll just keep brain rotting and keep wasting your time and keep scrolling and just be at the mercy of the algorithms that are just going to get better and better over time, and be like a million other people all day, every day, who are just scrolling their entire existence away. And remember, all this is just going to get exponentially worse. Like, look back 5-10 years and how unstimulating the internet was compared to now. And now with AI and all these different new technologies coming out, imagine how much worse it is going to get in just like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. If you don't try to fix it now and get off your phone now, it's just going to get exponentially worse for you. Now, towards the very beginning of the video, I said that you need to get off your phone and get off the screens and put your phone down, everything like that. But I put an asterisk mark by it, and I'm going to explain that now. I put an asterisk mark by it because there's a very big difference between using the internet and these things as tools versus as distractions. And distractions are basically what I call brain rot. It's just all the mindless, forgettable content that you watch online that has nothing to your life, but makes you feel good for like 2 seconds. And you forget about it like the next swipe or 2 seconds later. That stuff is nothing but a distraction, and it's just going to get worse. And you're going to gain absolutely nothing for that. You gain literally nothing from that. And I guess the only other time when I could actually see brain rot being useful is if you are genuinely working towards something, and then you've been working really hard that day, like you've actually done something, and then you chill out and you actually just want to turn your brain off and just consume and just mindlessly consume content. That's different. I'm talking about, or at least I talked about in my video, when people are on social media and rotting their brains before doing the things they know they need to do. Like, if you're already doing something that you want to do in your life, fine, whatever. That's different. But it's when you're putting the distraction above your priority, that's when it's a problem. And real quick, I just want to throw this in here. It's kind of like when people talk about Elon Musk and how he plays video games and how he's on social media. But it's like, bro is Elon Musk. Bro has like 2 or 3, 4 multi-billion-dollar companies. Bro's worth $250 billion. I just Googled his net worth maybe about a couple months ago, and it was at like $250 billion, which is already crazy. How did he make an extra $200 million in the past few? Anyways, if you have that level of success, then sure, fine. You can do whatever you want. But if you're not where you want to be, you haven't done anything yet, you haven't made any genuine progress towards it, I don't think there should be any reason why you should be wasting your time on social media. And the reason why there's an asterisk mark by get off your phone and get off social media and get off the internet is because sometimes that can actually be helpful in your life. If you use what you have in your hands, the most powerful tool in history of ever to actually improve your life in some way, then there's absolutely no problem with being on your phone. Because on social media, for those who don't know, there are literally only 2 types of people at any given time: the consumers and the producers. And we're all both consumers and producers, just depends on like where you are on that scale. But the ones who get the largest benefit are the ones who produce. And usually some of the biggest content creators, the people who are really producing everything that the people are consuming, are the ones who don't really consume that much content themselves. Like, just think about it at 2 extremes. You have the consumer, the person who just watches everything that's put in front of them. They eat it up. They're there for hours, days, years upon end. They're just consuming everything, but they don't put anything out there. They're commenting on stuff. They're doing everything. They're just there having a jolly old time. And you look at the person who produces something. They're not really consuming anything. The producer is the one who's going to make the money. The producer is the one who's going to get ahead. The producer is the one who's going to get power, leverage, influence. The one who's going to be put in a position to actually do something cool with their life. And once again, I'm not saying that you can't do anything cool if you are a consumer, but like just being real, it's usually a much better life to be a producer rather than a consumer. Like, think about anyone that we look up to that has done anything cool or useful in their life. They usually do not get to that position by just wasting their time on social media. I know like people in the past, they didn't have social media to, distract themselves with certain things. But if you look at someone who is able to build something, able to create something, able to get a large group of people together to build something really cool, doesn't matter what it is. They didn't do it by just listening and doing nothing and sitting there just taking in a bunch of information. They sat there bored without a phone, either because they didn't have one or it didn't even exist, and they just locked in and just made something interesting. but you can't do that if you're always consuming something. I know this is a crazy example, but it's kind of like someone like Sir Isaac Newton. If you think about the things that he was able to do at the time with the limited amount of information that he had, it is absolutely crazy and ridiculous that he was able to come up with all these different things. And of course, he didn't have social media back then or any crazy technology, but he was only able to do that because he was unbelievably bored and didn't have much to focus on other than the work in front of him. Because seriously, just try to imagine you back in the 1800s, whenever he existed, and there is this huge problem. You don't know how the stars are moving in the sky, how the galaxies move around. You don't know any of that stuff. And imagine you have absolutely nothing to go off of. How do you even begin the journey to even figure out how to get an answer to that question if you had a phone in your hand? We would be so far back as a species if him and other people in the past had social media, the same technology we have today. If they had it back then, we would be screwed. But there's probably a lot of people who will never see that potential and move the human race forward and do anything useful in their life because they're scrolling. Because there's a chance that you, listening to this video right now, have the same capability of Sir Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein or anybody who's done anything cool. Because these people are just humans just like you. They have the exact same brain, exact same hardware. And like, of course, sure, some people had higher IQ and were smarter, but they're made of the same stuff as you. And imagine that all of that potential, all of that energy that could be put to use of something huge is just wasted on a phone. Anyways, back to social media. But the one who's going to get the bigger benefit from social media and online stuff is the person who is producing content 99 times out of 100. But also I got to add a disclaimer, because if you do consume, there's different types of consuming. You can consume helpful content. You can consume content that makes you think, something that you can take inspiration from to produce your own content. If you're on social media trying to learn, like actively learning, not just like I saw, a math TikTok, 3 weeks ago. But if you're actively on there trying to learn something, actively trying to consume something that you're going to take with you and use it in some other aspect of your life to build a life that you want, that's fine. That's why I can't just say, get over social media. Because especially when I'm talking about brain rot, I'm talking about short form content. I'm going to be 100% honest. I do not know how you can watch short form content and have it be helpful to you at all. Even educational short form content is still just an absolute waste of time. Like, how many things do you learn from a short form video that are actually helpful or useful at all? At least with long form content, kind of like me. I don't want to just produce a bunch of brain rot. At least with a long form video, mainly just YouTube, you can learn something. My bad, my dog just started barking. But short form content, I feel like, is a complete waste of time. You don't really learn anything from it. With long form content, at least like the content that I'm producing, at least I hope so, that you can gain something from it. It can be somewhat useful. Everything that I have learned from the internet has only come from YouTube videos and long form content, because only with long form content can you go into depth on things. Can you actually have explanations? Because my whole goal is to try to at least do something helpful to some people, to try to spark some thoughts into someone's brain. But that's why I don't make any short form content, because I know that if I make short form content, it's just easily forgettable. It's something that someone's going to watch and just forget 10 seconds later. Because hopefully with the videos that I make, like the videos that did pretty well, like the brain rot video, and that people don't want to work anymore, hopefully that sparked some thoughts into some people's minds and maybe changed the way they look at life at least a little bit. But I don't think I would ever do that if I would have posted that same video on TikTok, for example. Basically, if you are going to use the internet or be on social media or looking at a screen all day, use it for something that's going to benefit your life in some way, shape, or form. Use it to start a YouTube channel. Use it to start an account which you're going to like and get people in and make money and try to just spread your message on whatever that is. But if you're just going to consume and consume and consume and consume and do absolutely nothing with it, in my opinion, you are wasting your time. Like, for people who do watch my videos, I hope if you're watching this video, when you step away from the screen, you're doing something to try to improve your life in some way. That the words I'm saying right now sparks something in you that makes you want to make a change in your life, to try to do something to get the most out of your existence. If not, and I'm just like if I'm just some content that you're just watching, try to pass the time, hopefully I was able to help in some way, but I really hope you actually do something with it. Because we do not have forever to exist. We do not have forever to exist on this tiny blue dot. While we're here, we need to do something. We need to do something so at the very end of our life, we're not sitting there with pain and regret knowing we wasted the one chance we had to exist. And if we exist right now and we only get one chance at it, and in our hands, we have the most powerful tool ever, why would you waste it just looking at flashing pixels? So actionable step, if you do want to fix brain rot, get off your phone. And if you're not going to get off your phone, produce content. And if you're not producing content, you're still just going to be on your phone doing nothing all day, then you're just wasting your life, in my opinion. If you're actually doing it to be, helpful or whatever, that's fine. And every now and then, that's fine. But if you are scrolling nonstop and putting your phone and brain rot above the things you should be doing in your life, and you don't know what you want to do with your life, and you don't have any goals or any plans, just kind of just there scrolling for hours and hours every single day, wasting your life, okay, then stay like that. But hopefully if you're watching this far into this video, you have a working brain and you're not just going to waste your life, and you just do something useful. I'm not going to keep repeating myself. Just do it and get off your phone and be consistent. And please, this is the very end. Please remember, anything you want to do in this life, the only things you have to remember, the main things, the foundation of anything, is consistency and just doing it.